Welcome to Vino with Vito. Let's not forget Nina.
Hi.
Today we have my daughter, Luciana.
Hello.
Her last name has changed, though. It's not Contuzzi anymore. It's Gencarelli. Today's podcast, we're going to talk about what it's like growing up with your dad being a realtor and about Luciana being an entrepreneur. And just like her dad, she loves wine. She bought a nice bottle of Bonanza. And it's red, and it's really good, and it's her favorite.
My favorite one.
But the one thing is, Luciana's pregnant with my second grandchild, and she's not going to be drinking today.
Unfortunately.
So,
it's okay.
Nina,
More for
yes,
us.
it's
Yeah.
more for us. So what we'll do is first
I
we'll
won't
pour
complain.
Luciana a little bit of water, so at least she's got something to drink with, right?
It's in a wine glass. It feels better, I guess.
It does.
feels better.
It
Look,
does.
well,
Everything tastes better. in a
Everything
wine
tastes
glass.
better in a,
Maybe
in
nice.
a wine glass.
Should have brought a nice slice of lemon.
I forgot that. See? Damn, we forget all these things. So Luciana, question for you while I'm opening this wine. Always
Yeah.
takes a little time, you know? What's it like growing up with your dad being an agent? And was I always on the phone, or did I not realize I was always on the phone? You tell me what it was like growing up like that.
So I would say, like, besides hearing, hi, this is Vito, 1,000 times a day? Is that what you're asking? Yeah, it's funny because I always compare, I don't know anyone whose screen time would be higher than my dad's if it just takes into account being on phone calls all day. But
It's true.
It's funny. I mean, it's part of the job. He needs to do it,
And every time when we're in the office, if he goes to the bathroom, his phone rings.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Every time he gets up to go to the bathroom, his phone rings.
Yeah, even at home, if it would go off while he's in the bath, can someone answer that? It's like, why are we going to answer? Like, Vito's phone, hello. This is his daughter.
Answered it a
I've
few
answered it
times. She
before.
said Vito's phone.
Yeah.
That's because you scream from the bathroom, get my phone!
Yeah.
Somebody answer my phone, and then all of a sudden it's mommy.
Yeah.
Who's this?
Yeah. That's funny. Yeah, so when I was little, my dad worked at a company. He did sales for a long time, and he did real estate part-time. And if anyone knows my dad, you know about his sales job because he likes to talk about it a lot. He loved the job. So I want to put that out there before we go on. And he did real estate part-time. But I remember, one day we were in the car, and it had to be like 18 years ago now because it was right after my brother was born. And my parents told my sister and I, we're both going to switch careers. And part of me, like half paying attention, probably on my phone. I was like 13 at the time, like, okay, like, well, and, it's a huge life change for them. But
For
to
them,
us, we're
to
like,
you, it's
okay,
like-
I don't know what's
Yeah.
going on. So my mom decided she was going to become a teacher, and she was an accountant before that. And then my dad, instead of doing the sales job full-time, real estate part-time, decided he was going to pursue real estate full-time. And like I said, it was right, around the time my brother was born. So like a lot of, changes going on in our family. And in my head, I'm like, okay, so what's the big deal? And they're like, that's a huge financial risk because real estate is only commission.
Right.
And in my head, I still was like,
How old are you?
probably like
the time?
13. Yeah, 13. In my head, I was still saying, so what's going to change? Because to me, my dad was always so passionate about real estate that I was like, okay, so he's doing it full time. That'll be even
That'll
better
be
for
even
him.
better, yeah.
Like, of course he was passionate about his other job too, but he was always a hard worker and loved real estate. So I knew like he would be successful anyway. So,
But did you ever get embarrassed of like all the signs around town? 'Cause, like a teenager,
yeah.
and they don't, sometimes you don't even want anyone to see you being dropped off by your parent, let alone pictures all over town.
No, because it's funny because my dad knows everyone, and I mean, you all know that he knows everyone, especially in Fairfield. We have so much family in Fairfield. But other than that, like everyone knows Vito, and it's become more so, in the past few years. But even when I was younger, I would go somewhere, and my dad always told me, I'm always watching, like, it's not going to be me, but I always know where you are because someone knows you, is watching you. And it's actually funny because last week, actually, one of my employees texted me and was like, oh, I just saw your dad in Patterson. And I was like, okay. So I called my dad and I said, what were you doing in Patterson? He's like, how do you know I was in Patterson? And I said,
So
don't
it's
worry. I
changed.
know a lot of people. I'm always watching.
Oh, that's
and
funny.
yeah, she actually said, I was driving, and of course he was looking at
Showing
a
something, I
building
think,
or
yeah.
something. And she's like, I can spot that hat and that shirt a mile away. So I was like, hey, I made it. I'm like him. I'm always
That's
watching
funny.
now.
Oh my God, that's funny.
But it's those Robert Graham shirts that I wear
Yeah.
all the time. That's
Everyone
how she's
knows.
supposed- Everybody knows.
It was like a bright pattern.
But now
Is that the one where Meg said it looked like a Vegas carpet, like when you walk into the Bellagio?
Probably, but that's why now we've changed for the podcast at least that I wear my
Signature,
signature wine.
I have a
wine
Vino shirt on.
Oh, nice.
Oh, look at that!
Love it.
Speaking about Vino, salute.
Salute.
Yeah.
To your
Salute.
salute.
My water, too.
To your water too.
Yeah, and I also, I brought some treats from my business, Zest. Yeah, so we have some baked goods here and some of our sweet potato crust pizza. I know you two are a fan. Yes, it has the cashew cheese, the peppers, the onions.
It truly is the best.
It's so good.
But everything you have is so delicious.
Oh, thank you.
And I never told you this story. I told you this story, right? The first time I had Zest.
Yes. Yep.
5 years ago.
Wow.
Wow.
My
this
mother was in the
pizza looks
hospital in New
great.
York, and me and my sister were sleeping there at night and everything. There was nothing for me to eat because I was gluten-free.
Yeah.
I'd have like a Rice Krispie treat, cup of coffee, a horrible salad. And my friend who lives in Verona stopped at Zest and drove all the way to Westchester with a cooler packed full of your stuff so I could eat stuff
Oh
that
my
would
gosh,
like,
that's so
you know,
nice.
give me energy and
Yeah.
like keep me
you
healthy
going,
and
yeah.
keep me going. And that was the first time I had it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
See,
Nice,
and
nice.
being gluten free, now you're always there at Zest.
Always there.
Yeah.
And
Spending a lot because I'm always starving. So I get
That's how it
a
gets.
salad, a bowl, 4 brownies, 3 cookies.
when Luciana was opening Zest and it was opened already, but I'll get to the story before she opened it after. But I would go in and I said, what the hell is an acciabo?
Oh, gosh. He still says it wrong. I'm
I
like,
was just going to
"It's
say
been
you
6
still
years."
can't say it.
And she's like, it's acai. I'm like, acai. And then I would say acai, and then the next day I'd say the
You'd
same
say it
thing
wrong
again.
again, yeah.
Acai. But I'll tell you one thing, though. It's helped me a lot. I've actually slimmed down a lot by eating healthy, and they got me on the kick eating healthy. Luciana, my having a health food store, and my other daughter, Victoria, being a PA, they stay on top of me and make sure that I walk every
And
day.
it doesn't hurt that it's right down the street
Yeah.
from
And
our
it's
office.
right, and it's right down the street from the office.
And the refreshers go good with tequila. There's that spicy,
Yeah.
I knew
they
alcohol
do.
was going to be involved with
the
with
spicy,
that.
spicy lemonade.
recharge. Oh, spicy lemonade.
And the spicy
yeah.
recharge, because spicy recharge has orange and grapefruit, right? That goes good with the habanero
Those-
tequila.
They always, they really do.
Yeah, but you don't put
Not
the
right now,
alcohol
right
right
now.
now.
No,
gonna take
I do that on my
a
own.
bite
Yeah.
of this while
Last
we're
summer,
here.
that was like a big
It was
thing.
so good.
Yeah.
I know, it's delicious.
Yeah, so that's our sweet potato crust.
Oh my God, this is.
It's our little version of
This is
pizza.
our
delicious.
With our cashew cheese, peppers, onions. Don't worry, Chris, we'll give you some after.
Very
but
delicious.
yeah.
But now, Luciana.
So good.
Luciana went to school. I don't know if I ever told you the story. She went to college at Seton Hall University. But prior to that, she got accepted to, I believe it was Ramapo.
Oh, yes.
And Luciana's naturally my oldest. So she comes home, she goes, hey, Dad, I got accepted to Ramapo. They're giving me a full scholarship, and this, that, and the other thing. I'm just like, oh, wow, great, my first. I don't have to pay for college, whatever. A week later, she comes back. She goes, but I don't want to go to Ramapo. I want to go to Seton Hall. I'm like, how much is Seton Hall? But it was the best decision.
But see, a lot
I
of
ever
parents
made.
would force them to go
Yeah.
somewhere that they didn't want to go because they got a scholarship.
Yeah, no, I'm so grateful, like, how everything
You went to
turned out
Italy
and-
too, right? Didn't you study abroad?
I did Barcelona. It was just like a week
Oh,
program.
okay.
Yeah, and through my business program, it was just a week, but you still get credit for a whole class. So it was really awesome. They had so many opportunities there. College, I feel like applying to college was so different back then. I don't know if it was just me because I wanted to stay local, or the process now is absolutely crazy.
The process is insane because I have a junior in high school,
because
and
it's just crazy. I mean, all the girls who work for me, they're so stressed out for like 2
it's
months.
It's so stressful, and it takes a long,
it's so
a long
different.
time. You're not just filling out your applications, setting your test scores. A lot of them are test optional now. You have to do the essays. It's so different.
I remember I applied to just some local colleges. I wanted to stay home, and I said to my parents, people take their kids on college tours, and they're like, college? What's a college tour? I'm like, you have to go to the college to look at it. So I remember we went to Seton Hall. They drove by, and they're like, hey, that's Seton Hall. And I'm like, oh, okay, thanks. And meanwhile, my brother now is going to like 20 different schools.
I know he took a few tours.
Yeah, he took a few tours. Yeah, I mean, but like I said, wouldn't change anything.
So
I knew I wanted to stay local. I love Seton Hall, love their business program, and I have to attribute a lot to them.
How'd you meet TJ, your husband?
He is actually from Fairfield. He's a couple years older, but we had a lot of mutual connections. My cousin married one of his best friends, actually, and how we first started talking was actually kind of through Zest. We can go back later, but when I started Zest, I was starting out of a commercial kitchen, so I did a lot of baking, and I just rented a kitchen in Fairfield and would sell to people in town and street fairs, things like that. And his sister was one of my customers because she was all into health, nutrition, and she's from Fairfield as well. So she would always say to her brother, you should talk to Luciana, the girl from Zest, And he's like, I don't know, like, I know her cousin, like, it's weird, whatever. And one time we happened to be at one of these like festivals at the same time, and his sister said to me, my brother's going to be there. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll text him. I don't care. And somehow out of, like thousands and thousands of people, we ended up in the bathroom porta potty line at the same time. So the rest is history.
And I got to admit, TJ is the greatest guy.
You love TJ.
Yeah.
He has nothing but amazing things to say about TJ all the time.
Greatest son-in-law, greatest father for my grandchild, Serafina.
Yeah, we wish she could be here, but she'd probably destroy everything on this table right now.
And she'd probably throw our wine on the floor.
Yeah.
That's another reason. She's
or try to drink it.
She is so cute.
Yeah.
But Luciana always had that drive in her where she graduates Seton Hall in 3.5 years. I remember you won that one... what was it? The C stick. You remember?
Oh yeah, the Pirates pitch. It was
Pirates pitch as a freshman.
Yeah.
She won this.
It was an entrepreneur contest, and basically it was the first year they ran it, and you had to pitch an idea to a group of judges, and there was 5, finalists, and I was one of them, and I won. And I remember.
What was your idea?
I partnered with like a professor at the time, and we had this idea. It was called the C stick. I was very into medical back then as well as food. My sister took the medical route. And it was basically this stick where you can put it next to someone's womb, and it would see like the color of it, the size, so you wouldn't have to bring them to the doctor every time to see how it's healing and everything. So it's actually really interesting. I still think it should be a good idea, but I remember for the little video I made my little brother be a patient, and I was like, all right, just lay on the floor right here, please.
Right. And remember you said she used to babysit when she was younger, right?
Oh, she did.
I did every job under the sun.
He talked about that in one of the podcasts.
Yeah, she used to babysit. I think she was 9 years old.
Yeah, and that's when I was like, that doesn't sound so
5, 6 year old. You worked at Funtime Junction.
Yeah.
You did all these jobs. She was I think she took that part from me.
Yeah.
Constantly working and constantly hustling. And
I always loved working. Like my friends would be like on Saturdays, like we're doing this, that. I'm like, it's a work day. And they're like, a work day? I'm like, it's Saturday. Like, when else are we going to work? Like, I used to literally, go from the chiropractor, change in the car, go to Funtime Junction, change in the car again, go to babysit. And I would be like, this is so fun. Like, I loved it. And I remember I also used to save all my money until the end of the month, and I would deposit it all at the end of the month, the cash and the checks, because I liked seeing,
seeing
the month,
everything
like,
at the end.
OCD. And one of my bosses was like, "Can you not do that? Because it like really
It
messes
throws off
me
the
up."
books.
Like,
Because she wasn't cashing.
She wouldn't
it.
cash the checks right away.
And then she'd have the
like all the checks, yeah.
checks in the cash, and then you would put it.
That was
Speaking
funny.
about the cash, funny story. I think you were probably 9, 10 years old at the time. I don't even remember, but it was a bunch of our friends. We always played poker, and we still do that today. But back then, I didn't know about ATM machines or anything like that. So my buddy calls me up, and he goes, Anucci calls, and he goes, "Hey, we're having a card game tonight." I said, "Oh, great, I'll be there." I go in my pocket. I'm like, wow, I don't have that much money on me. I'm like, banks are closed. I don't
It's
have
not
an
like
ATM.
you usually have.
Yeah.
Right. Now, that's why now I always have
Yeah.
cash on me.
For poker games.
And these guys are always taking my money.
And for when I leave
used
my
to-
wallet at home
Yeah, I
on
used to
Cinco
take
de
that-
Mayo,
yeah, you
he gave
take
me $200
$100 so she
because
can
the
go
Uber
out.
came to the office
Oh
to
my
pick me and
God.
Michelle up, and I couldn't find my wallet.
Well,
He's
so I
like,
had to give
"Here."
her money. Go out. But I'll never forget. I go, all of a sudden it clicked in my head. I said, Luciana's got to have money. So I go up to Luciana. I go, Luciana, you remember that? I don't know
Yeah.
if you remember this. I go, Luciana, can you lend Papa some money? She goes, how much you need? I go, how much do you have? She goes, what do you need? She was like almost an accountant already.
Yeah.
You know?
That
She
was
goes,
like
"What
my
do you-"
hoarding
Right, don't
money
worry about what I
stage.
have.
Yeah,
Tell me what you need, and I'll tell you
that's
if I
what she
have.
said. Don't worry
Yeah.
about what I have. What do you need? I said, I don't know. You got 200? She goes, yeah, I can help you out. I said, all right, lend me the 200. So she's counting out $200, and she's gotten it in her hand. She's handing it to me. She goes, when are you going to pay me back? I go, well, it's Saturday night. Banks are closed on Sunday. I go, if I win, I'll pay you on Sunday. If I lose, banks open on Monday, I'll give it to you on Monday. She goes, all right, no problem. She goes, okay, so tomorrow it's $220 on Sunday. She goes, on Monday it's $240. I go, what are you talking about? She goes, interest.
Oh my God, I love it.
I go, interest? She goes, yeah, 10% interest. So $220 and then $240. I go, 10% interest.
I was gonna say, that's
I go, that's daily. I go, 10% interest is yearly. I go, I know other people that charge daily, but you shouldn't be charging daily. You know what her answer was?
Do you need the money?
No, she goes, you want to go play poker with your buddies tonight?
Oh my God, I love it.
I go, are you kidding me? She goes, those are the terms.
Did you pay her back?
And she's got her
Would you
hand.
pay her back Sunday or Monday?
I had to pay her back Monday. $240.
Now I know. I'm like, be careful what I teach my daughter because she'll really listen. But I love that story. And another one I also like is I remember I was, young, probably like 7, and my sister had to be 4 at the time. And my dad would be working, my mom would be cooking dinner, and I would be like, Tor, come in my room. She's like, why? It's a room sale. And I would just put price tags on everything in my room. The day before, she can play with it. But that day, it cost her money from her piggy bank.
God,
She's like counting out her change. And I'm like, yes, I made like $2.
Insane.
so funny.
She always
always
had that
wanted
that,
to.
It's good, though.
that drive and that entrepreneurship. And I remember when you graduated Seton Hall, you did it in naturally 3.5 years. I remember driving, I'd see a billboard up on Route 80 with you, Luciana Contuzzi, Stillman School of Business, and, she did really good. And after graduating, you had a job at a big bank. Mm-hmm. And she had an internship with them. They paid her. Now she's got a job at a big bank. And she comes home and she goes one day, I think right after school, she goes, I don't want to do this. I look at her like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
You don't want to do this. Because you took up, finance and IT?
Finance and IT, yeah.
And she goes,
Wow.
oh, I don't want to work behind a cubicle. I don't want to work for anybody. I'm like, what? She
After all
goes,
that.
I go, after all this, Ramapo was free. I pay a ton of money for Seton Hall for you to be in finance, and now you come home and you don't want to do this. And I'm like, what do you want to do? And she goes, you wanted to do Zest.
Yeah.
And
So did you always make healthy things and eat healthy?
I wouldn't say so. I started doing that more so in high school. When I was working at the chiropractor, there was a nutritionist there. I got really into health and nutrition. I mean, I always loved food. Food was always a big part of our life,
Yeah.
you know, being Italian, the tomato sauce, the wine, like everything. I loved how food always just brought people together. And then once I started learning about healthy food and, you know, how it made you feel, how it could, you know, change your body, and just how many different options there are and there can be for like all different people with allergies, that's when I started getting into healthy food. But like my dad said, when I was in college, you know, I would still drive home to work for the chiropractor, had an internship, you know, had 20 different jobs, worked at Seton Hall too. But the internship was at, you know, Morgan Stanley. And my favorite part of the internship was when I used to go to Short Hills Mall and get him coffee because I would get out of the cubicle. And I was like, I know this is not for me. Like, you know, and it was hard. It was hard to admit that, I think, like hard to to admit it to my family, and then also hard to admit it to one of my mentors at Seton Hall. And
yes, Charles.
And
mentor.
And I would I would talk to my mentor, you know, every week, and he said, you know, don't worry, you're learning what you don't want to do. And then once I started telling that, you know, to my family, they really, you know, took that and said, okay, it's okay. Like, and I think, you know, my dad always knew I was going to be successful, so he tried not to, you know, get too nervous. But when I graduated, it wasn't like now where, you know, people take gap years and go to, you know, open their own businesses. Everyone from my program got a job at a big bank, a big four. And I was, you know, the one who was like, oh, I want to open a cafe. Like, kind of embarrassed to say it to myself, imagine to other people. And then once I realized it was my passion, you know, I job hopped a lot more before opening Zest. In like 2 years, I had 3 different jobs.
But I'm sure, too, it's like, you know that they spent money in college. You don't want to disappoint.
Yeah, exactly. So
I
kept trying. You know, like I worked at a marketing company. And after like 2 weeks there, I would just be so bored. So then I started working for a corporate catering company. And I was like, okay, I'll love this. It's food, but it's business, you know? And they moved me from the office to one of the actual cafe sites, which was like super cool. I was helping make the menus, serve the food, and all this stuff. And I remember one day I was literally filling the forks and the knives, and I'm thinking in my head, why am I doing this for someone else when I could just be doing it for myself? It was just like that moment that I was like, why am I doing this? And while I was working there, I also got a job at a restaurant at night because I wanted to, I don't know, you know, have another job for some reason.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't enough.
It wasn't enough. Every time
job.
I would ask Anna, where's Luciana? She's working. I go,
which job?
Which job?
Yeah. And then I started doing Zest, like I said, you know, out of the commercial kitchen, putting my hands in, like having my own business. The IT skills came to use. I built my own website, you know. And after leaving the catering company, I worked for a food distributor. That was my last job before doing Zest full time. And that job, I think, was the hardest to leave in a way because I had a really good position there. They treated me really well. Everyone who worked there, you know, worked there for like 20, 30 years. Like they were teaching me, you know. And I just kind of felt like bad in a way saying it's just not for me, you know? Like I don't.
You got to
because you don't want to offend people either. You feel like almost like you're offending them that
exactly, and
it's what they love and you don't love it as much as they do.
But it's so nice now. You know, one of my old bosses, he follows me on Facebook, always comments on like Zest, my daughter. Like he's still, you know, so proud. He says, and some of the people from there still come to Zest, so it's like an awesome feeling. But you know, with my mentor, with Seton Hall, with my dad, my family's advice, like I was finally able to like make the push and just, you know, do what I wanted.
And you're always busy.
Yeah. And
I'll never forget when she came up to me and told me that's what she wanted to do, and I'm like, you know, your first instinct as a parent, and you know, with college and this, and you're switching a whole new career that we knew nothing about. You know, the health food, the organic, and everything. And her thing was, well, she goes, you left your high salary job. Your son my brother was just born, and you left insurance. They paid for your car, your phone. You left everything and going strictly on commission to be an entrepreneur. Why can't I?
Yeah, and it was like,
that's what she told me.
Good point.
I'm doing the same thing, but I'm living home. So
no, but I remember you weren't living home.
And you didn't have a family to take care of.
But she
I
wasn't living home at the time.
Right.
And I said, you know what? I don't. Since you put it that way, I
Yeah.
don't have a problem.
I'm like, I'm
But you're
following
moving
your
back.
footsteps.
I go, you're moving back home, so
Yeah.
at least you don't have to worry about paying rent or whatever.
Yeah.
And
That
you
was
did move back home, and
Yeah.
and then you started it. And I think one year we were in Italy.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah.
you didn't even really tell us at the
Yeah,
time.
that
you
was
were-
when I started out of the kitchen.
Out of the kitchen that you were doing it. And I would get phone calls while we're in Italy. Hey, Vito, there's a bunch of packages on your front porch.
Yeah, I was ordering.
And this was before Anna was ordering all
boxes.
everything from Amazon. But I'm
Before
like,
the Ring camera.
Before
Yeah,
the Ring
right?
camera
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything. And it would be actually a police officer from Fairfield that, I knew well had his cell number.
Yeah,
and he
'cause
goes,
then they know that
everything
you're
okay?
away if the
You're
package is
you're
piling up.
whatever. And I'm like, who the hell
Yeah,
is
I'm like,
ordering, stuff? I got pictures. She goes, that would be
Yeah,
me.
because on the plane ride to Italy, I was, mocking up the idea in my head about opening the commercial kitchen, like kind of doing it secretly and ordering like all these cups and things and not realizing how big the boxes were going to be for when we got home. But it all worked out in the end.
It sure did. It sure did.
We got caught. Did you know we put the for sale by owner sign on your parents' front lawn on
Oh, no.
April Fool's Day?
Oh my God, I didn't.
But we
see
got
that.
caught in
That
2
is
minutes.
from the Ring camera, his
Because of the
favorite
camera.
new invention. Yeah.
It didn't help that I had a Century 21 sweatshirt on.
That's
and
too
I parked
funny.
right across the street.
I'm
'cause it was
surprised you
raining.
didn't get a call in
What?
5 seconds because this
Wait,
You know how
market.
many people
Wait,
called him
wait.
in 5 minutes?
I had like 4 or 5 phone calls.
Oh,
I
God.
can't
Like
take
in-
the credit. That was Chris's idea. I was just the person that put the sign on.
all of a sudden, I'm driving, right? I'm with your cousin Johnny, and all of a sudden my phone rings and it goes, hello, this is so-and-so. I'm calling about the house for sale.
Oh, God.
I go, which house? He goes, the one on the park on Hollywood Ave. I go, that house is not for sale. And he's
I didn't
going,
even know about
he's
that.
going,
That's so funny.
yes, it is. He goes, I just drove by and it has your phone number,
Oh, my
for sale
God,
by
that's
owner.
too good.
First thing I'm thinking, I'm not putting a for sale by owner
Yeah.
sign on because
Put
I'm
my
a realtor.
sign- I
I'm
want
putting-
my face up
Yeah, I
there.
want my face up there. But then I'm saying, what the hell, for sale by owner? And he's going on and on. He goes, I always loved that house, this and that. And I'm like, but the house is not for sale. He goes, but the sign is on the lawn. I'm right in
That's
front of
too
it and I
funny.
see it. Then I'm thinking, I go, yeah, I had an argument with your mother that morning. I don't think she put a sign up with my phone number on it, right?
She'd put at least her phone.
At
number.
least put her number on it. But it was crazy because you hang up with the guy, another guy
Somebody
calls.
else.
That's funny.
I must have had 4 or 5 phone calls. That's
And
when I
like-
called Victoria. I go, I call Mommy. She goes, no, I'm not home. I call Victoria. Are you home? She goes, yeah. I go, can you do
Take
me a
that sign
favor?
down.
Go outside. Is there really a sign on our front lawn? And all of a sudden she starts FaceTiming me. She goes, yeah, and it's got your number on it. I go,
too
please
good.
pick it up and put it to the side. I have people from town actually texting me.
That's the best April
Hey,
Fool's
I didn't
joke.
know you were thinking of moving. I'm like, I'm not. I'm
That's too
not.
funny.
But this is a crazy thing
It's-
people do to me.
Yeah.
You see that?
Well, now that you're a celebrity and everything.
I know.
No, never a celebrity.
Oh,
But-
God.
But I'm so glad that, Zest has worked out for you. I remember when the first show or whatever you call that you did. You remember in Wyckoff?
Yeah.
How
food-
many
street market.
Street
fair,
market.
yeah.
Oh, a street
How
fair.
many bananas you
Oh,
ordered
my God,
and,
yeah.
and everything.
Yeah,
Can
how do you?
tell us
you
the
can't.
story about
In the
that?
beginning,
In the
you probably
beginning.
don't know.
Yeah, I had no
How
idea
many?
what I was doing. Like, I literally had no idea. So I went to a street fair in Wyckoff. The night before, I was baking out of someone's restaurant, and I was there for like 5 hours. And I got maybe a third of what I thought I was going to get done. And it was really late. And I was
Yeah.
like, okay, I have to just stop. Whatever I have is fine. I ordered 4 cases of bananas, probably like 400 bananas, and brought them to the street fair. Put on my little apron. I was like, oh, this is so fun. And I probably used, like not even 1 box of bananas. So I'm like, what am I going to do with all these bananas?
Good
What am
thing
I going to do
good
with
Make
thing
your
all
I ate
these?
a
delicious
lot of
banana
bananas.
bread. I
What
love
am I
your
doing with all
banana
these
bread.
baked goods? Yeah. So that was my first lesson. I mean, with all the baked goods and stuff, I brought them to different cafes and coffee shops in the area. And I was like, okay, maybe I can wholesale.
smart,
And that's
yeah.
how, like that little idea turned around.
And you do catering too, right?
Yeah. So do catering, wholesale. One local coffee shop in Caldwell, Jola Coffee, buys a lot of our baked goods. So
Oh,
it's
nice.
fun. Doing all different things like that.
Are you
But-
s'mores cookies? Not the s'mores cookies. I love those.
Oh,
Those
I
are
had
like-
that last night.
Those are
One
now
in the
a staple.
box.
And wait, what was the other one?
The
Samoas. The
Yeah.
Samoas.
Yeah, we do those seasonal.
Those are the Girl Scout ones.
The
Oh my God.
Samoas she did for me because she knew I used to eat
Yeah,
them all the
he loves Samoas, so we put that as our Girl Scout cookie, and now
Yeah,
even though he called them Samoyas. Another one.
Acai, oh no, acai bowl,
yeah.
not acai bowl.
Yeah, I don't even remember how you
The
said
973.
it. Yeah,
It's one of our faves.
the 973
I
sandwich.
eat that all the time without the bread, and people sometimes will be at Zest and they're looking at me. What is that?
Yeah, and he
I
likes
go, it's a 973
With
you
an
know?
egg, right?
With
You
an
can
egg,
actually get it
bread.
with an egg and rice bacon
Rice
on
bacon.
top
Yeah.
with a little bit of hot sauce. Oh,
Yeah, it's
so filling, so good.
unique flavors. That's what we like
Yes.
to do, you know.
And that you got from me. I taught you a lot of that.
Yeah,
What, rice paper bacon?
sure.
With all the sausage,
Sausage
just hanging
down,
at your
you can make
mother's
rice paper bacon from this.
When Luciana was a kid, though, she would always see. Remember the sausage hanging
Yeah.
from known, and the organic part, I think, got to you from when we were in Italy.
Yeah, that's how the
That's
whole
how
organic.
the whole
thing
organic came. Because when she was young, we'd always go to Italy and with her relatives and everything, see all the farms, everything.
But
being-
people say people with even like really bad food allergies
Yeah.
that can't eat wheat normally,
Yeah.
everything, they go to Italy and they can
It's
eat
so
the pasta.
different.
It's so
Like,
different.
I don't eat
they
dairy.
have
I
no
don't- yeah.
problem eating food
Oh,
there.
there?
because
Yeah,
it's-
you feel fine.
You feel fine. Isn't that crazy?
It's so crazy. Yeah.
Oh,
But
I
But you're
love-
not right? Are you vegan? You're not.
I'm not. I eat fish. I eat eggs. Sometimes I'll eat cheese now, you know, depending. But I was gluten and dairy free for probably like 2-3 years, and that's when I started Zest and how I got into it. But yeah, like you said, over there it's so different.
It's so
and
different. People don't have any reactions. They can
Yeah.
eat whatever they want.
It's sad. I know. And in Zest now, I have, you know, all pictures of, you know, my family in Italy and my family, you know, my parents and their siblings when they were in Italy. So it just ties everything all together, you know, the organic piece.
The other good thing is the meal plans for people where, you know, you cook the meal plans where they'll
Didn't
pick 'em
Nucci
up.
say you did that for him and he
Oh,
lost
yeah,
like a ton of weight?
yeah.
Yep.
I used to do it for him and his daughter, yeah. And that was something I also started right before I opened the store. I partnered with, you know, some local nutritionists and would make meals for their clients out of the commercial kitchen. And then once I opened the store, I just brought that into the store, and it's really fun to create a different menu every week. And
Yeah.
you know, TJ and I have food for the week because I just make extra, so it's nice.
And I always see pictures of your daughter on Instagram
Eating
drinking
everything,
eating
yeah.
everything and drinking,
Drinking
everything with
everything.
her little pigtail.
Yeah. We have the logo in front of the juice bar where I always take her pictures. So now every time she comes, she stands
She just
there.
stands there waiting.
I'm
Oh,
waiting and
goodness.
smiling, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I literally trained her.
Oh, that's so cute. She is adorable.
Oh,
so
thank
funny.
you. She's just starting to talk a little bit here and
Yeah.
there. Where the other day she goes, "Mama, Dada,"
Yeah.
you know, happy.
Happy, yeah.
Baby.
So you'll be like a little less than 2 years apart?
Yeah, like 19, 20 months. Yeah. This week, like a lot of different words, like ball, bubbles, baby, happy, up. I'm like,
Let me tell you, she's great. When they were kids and you would bring her or her siblings to like my mom or Anna's mom and you would drop them off, they'd be yelling and screaming like they didn't want to be dropped off. They want to, you know, come back with us. Now she comes at like 6:30 in the morning because she's got to go to work with Serafina. And Anna's in the garage, and I'm in the garage. I'm waiting. Luciana's coming with Serafina in her arms. Serafina looks at me or Anna, and she goes like this.
yeah, she doesn't
Like,
even say bye to me.
She
I'm
won't
like,
say bye.
okay.
She's like, okay, I'm here. Maybe it's because we give her
But so much
snacks
better
and
than
you
if
don't.
they
I
just
do.
clinging to you, because then you feel
Yeah.
bad getting, you know.
Yeah. No, it's like I'm so glad that she likes being there. It makes everything easier because it's so
I
early
worked-
too.
I worked at a preschool years and years and years ago,
Yeah.
like forever ago.
Yeah.
And we used to tell the parents, just drop off and you just gotta go.
Gotta go,
They
yeah.
would linger, and I don't blame them. They would linger, but then they would finally leave. Their kid would stop crying. They'd be at the window like this. And then the kid would see them and start crying again. I'm like, you have to leave the
Yeah.
premises. They're never going to get over it. Then once they leave, they're
They're
fine.
fine,
They
yeah.
really are always
It's
fine.
like the
but-
separation part.
But Serafina's funny though, because she'll she comes in or whatever, and then she's like the little boss.
Oh yeah.
She starts going around, and then she'll put her finger up one, and we're like, okay, no, we can't.
Didn't you say
can't
she's
watch
like,
TV.
oh, yeah.
sit next
And then
to
then we'll
Go
go
here,
in
sit
the
here,
family
sit
room.
here.
She's pointing down. She goes, and I sit, and then she sits on my lap. Then she'll get the ball. She'll play, and. But she's so funny. And then she'll get up. She gets up and she puts her hand out. I got to hold her hand. And she knows where the snacks are.
Wow.
So if Ann's taking a shower and I'm home, she knows Ann won't give her the snacks. So she grabs my hand and she goes right by the cabinet. And
Her new thing is like cracker.
Cracker.
Everything's a
Yeah,
cracker.
The other day I gave her the little tiny pretzels. And they have salt on them, and she's just licking the salt. She's licking the salt, and I'm like, "No, you got to eat it."
You can't say no to her,
I
right?
know.
You can't. And then I'm like, "Here, drink some water too."
Yeah.
They were pretty salty. Do me a favor, don't tell your mother or your father. I'm gonna get in trouble.
We got a new bakery case at Zest, and it's like a little higher now, so the doors, she can reach it with all the baked goods. So when we go there, she just opens it, like takes some. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's like the boss. But it's fun, and I like having her, like come there. She feels like it's, her second.
She's probably
third
gonna be
home,
like
you.
you.
Yeah.
Working. She'll probably start working there when she comes home from school, when she gets older.
Even now,
and
she goes there, she like opens the Ziplocs, puts the vegetable. Like she likes doing stuff, and it reminds me of when he was working for the sales company, I would come to Home Depot with him sometimes and put tags on the shelves, and I was like, "This is so cool," And I actually love Home Depot. It's really weird, but maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah.
And the best was she was a bright kid right from the beginning. When she did that, I didn't even have to double check because I knew everything was in the right place or whatever. But I'll never forget. I broke my ankle in what was it? Victoria was a baby, so she was only a few months old. So 28 years ago, I broke my ankles. You were 3.5 years old, and I couldn't go anywhere because now
How'd you break it?
Playing softball like a dummy.
Really?
I was sliding
Yeah.
to third base, and I had no idea how to slide. I said, "Let me try."
Were you at least
were-
safe?
No, I was out, broken ankle, and we were losing like 15-1. What the hell taught me,
Right.
go
You should have
slide.
you should have just been out and just.
And then not slide. So now I got a broken ankle. I'm out of work. I got 2 kids at home, a newborn and a 3.5-year-old. And I'm on the couch, and this one here bringing me books. She's reading. 3.5 years old. She knew how to read.
Wow.
I was like, I got a pretty smart one here. So she was actually reading at 3.5 years old. And I know I'm a smart guy, but I never went to college, so I can't say you got it from me. But I think you got that part from your mom with the smarts.
Got like both. I got the book smart and the street smart. Combined it
And
together.
You combine them together.
Perfect
Not too many.
combination.
It is,
Yeah,
yeah.
not too many people have that. That's
Yeah,
right.
no, it's
That's
good.
right.
Yeah.
But no, that was good though. Bringing you to those stores, teaching you young how to work, and now you have a successful business.
Yeah.
And you still love it?
Yes, I do. Definitely love it. I think it's different now. A lot of changes, since I had the baby, and a lot of
It has to be hard.
Yeah, it's very different. I mean, when I first opened, it was, we were there 7 to 6 every day, like 7 days a week, never took a break, vacations here and there. Obviously took my phone, learned that from him. You're always going to answer your phone on vacation. But, I was like living there basically.
Yeah.
And I loved it, So when I had the baby, it was crazy. I remember she was breech, so I was going to have a C-section, so it was going to be scheduled. And we got this big catering order from a wedding venue, and it was for November 6th. So my due date was November 12th, and I said to my husband, the only date they cannot make my C-section is November 6th. Like, we need to be here for this catering order. Like, this is my last, Saturday that I'm going to be here, And, to me, first of all, like I said, Saturdays, my whole life I worked. Since I was 13, I was like, what am I going to do on Saturdays? And they called me. They scheduled my C-section for November 11th. And I was like, okay, great. Next day, call back. the doctor really doesn't want you to wait that long to your due date. He's fully booked, so he's going to come in on a Saturday just for you. It has to be November 6th. And I was like, what? And I was like, I said to my husband, you know, I can't mess with fate. Like, this is, I can't, like, change the date of our daughter's birthday. Like, this is, but, like, what am I supposed to do? And he, you know, thankfully, we had some of the old girls who used to work for us. They came in, like, handled it, and it was, but
that's nice.
I said, this is our first test, you know, like, how to manage the business,
it's
the
always
baby,
going
our
to come
family.
up with
It's
the
always
kids.
going to come
Something
up, you know.
always comes up.
Yeah, I mean, I will say I was in the pre-op room, like, on my phone, like, hey, is the delivery guy there? But we weren't there, so it was a good step, and, you know, it taught me, this is the first time, you know, things are going to come up, and the baby's
But you're
gonna
so
get
lucky
sick.
that you have your parents
Yeah.
right there, even when she's in school.
Yeah, exactly.
She gets sick and needs to get picked up.
Yeah,
and you
everything's
can't leave.
very local.
I'm sure
It's
you
perfect.
have, yeah, which is great.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
going to be great. I can't wait till she goes to school. At least I can bring her there.
Yeah,
pick her
she'll
up,
love it.
and-
Yeah.
Oh, she'll love that.
Yeah.
But what you're talking like about being on your phone. I remember I was having open heart surgery. I
Yeah.
was still on my phone, and
Yeah.
you were in there. I think you were probably 17 or 18 at the time, and you're like, "What are you doing on your
Yeah.
phone?" I go, well,
Now
you know,
I know.
I'm worried about, you know, I got this house I'm worried about. And then I had told you, can you text this one and that one?
Yeah.
Tell
Oh,
him I'm
really?
having open heart surgery. I can't show my house on Saturday.
The first thing he said when he got,
And they probably
When
thought
he
it was a
woke-
joke.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
was having open heart surgery.
yeah, he woke up and it was my mom, me, and probably my sister in there. And he said he woke up and he was something about, did they sell the house or something like that was his first words. And I was like, oh my God. But I get it.
But that
I love you. I'm so glad I'm alive.
Yeah. Did it work?
How'd it go?
But but that's the whole thing, having that passion, having
Yeah.
that drive for what you do. And I am so glad that you did what you do. You have that passion, you have that drive. I have the passion, I have the drive. Leaving, you know, a corporate job and, you know, doing what I do now, I think that was the best decision I ever made. You know, I was scared, whatever, at the time, because now I have no health insurance. I'm paying my own gas. I'm paying my own car. I'm paying for everything. But you know what? We made it work because of the passion.
Yeah.
But look at all the
because of
time
that
you get
drive.
to spend even with your granddaughter.
And
Yeah.
that's it,
Yeah.
with my granddaughter. And one of my big things at the time, too, for doing that was when Luciana and Vittoria were young, I missed a lot of things with you guys.
Like the traveling for work.
Right, because I would leave on a Monday morning, come back on a Friday night. And, you know, thank God Ann was able to hold down the fort and, you know, take care of the kids and do everything. And then when Ralphie was born and I'm looking and I'm saying, you know, the job was changing. And when you get up in the morning and you say to yourself, I don't want to go to work. You know
That's when
what?
you know.
That's when you know you need to make a change. And with that company, I was there for years. And, you know, we started out with several people. We had a couple hundred people.
Yeah.
And,
It's
you know,
changing.
I went up through the ranks and, you know, and then I said to myself, I just can't do it. That's when I had to go to the two owners and, you know, actually sit with them and say, look, you know, I just, when I get up in the morning, I don't want to go to work. And that's not a good thing. It'll affect you guys more than it will me, because one day I might just go tell somebody to go scratch
Yeah.
and everything we built is gone because, you know, I didn't want to come to work.
Yeah,
But
something you were passionate about.
son, I was right. That changed, and now, you know, doing this, I spent more time with you guys after. I spent more time with Ralphie. Now I have, you know,
Yeah.
my granddaughter and my grandson coming soon.
Yeah. And I think, like, what I learned a lot from my dad, too, and what a lot of people don't understand unless you have your own business or you're in a, you know, realtors, you are your own business, you know, you're always working. You're working from the minute you wake up till the minute you go to bed. But it's different because you're doing what you love and you're working for yourself,
Right.
you know, so it's so different. I remember, you know, saying I never want to work weekends anymore because I did it, you know, when I was younger. But then once I opened Zest, I work Saturdays and Sundays. But I'm like, it's different because, you know,
It's
it's
yours.
my
It's
passion.
yours,
And,
That's
yeah.
right.
you know, now, especially like with my daughter and my son coming, it's the hardest thing I will say is managing, like the employees and their schedules and everything. And I do that every week, and it's just like a puzzle every week.
Yeah.
But, we make it work, and people calling out and this and that. It's very hard, but in the end, it's worth it because there are days I can be home with my daughter. There are days I can come home early. There are days my husband comes home early, So it's just, it's so different, You love what you do. You put your 100% into it when you're there all day. And even if you have to, work at night on the computer a little bit, it's different because it's for yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
No, that's definitely true.
And the hard part now is, like you said, is getting help. And you can't find people that want to work.
Yeah.
And I remember the one story you were telling me, where she just hired a new girl. And she goes, I think she's going to be great, Dad. I think she's going to be great, Papa. You were, 9 months pregnant at the time?
Oh, yeah.
And she goes, she's going to be great. I said, oh, good. At least, you have some help, while you're pregnant. And she goes, yeah. She's going to start tomorrow. All of a sudden, our phones are buzzing on our family group chat. And she's like, look at this. And you would give us a screenshot of the girl. And the girl was supposed to go to work, 7 o'clock
Is that the
morning?
one you took? I think it was.
There's
the one that
a
was
lot.
on
There's
I'm
probably
like,
like
I feel like
20
there's one
this
all.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah. She was supposed to come at 6:45, and she emailed me probably at 6 o'clock or something. And I'm up at 5:15. I work out, before work, and she said, "Hi, I don't think the 6:45 start time is going to work for me."
The day she's supposed to start at 6:45.
Yeah. I'm having really bad insomnia, so if it's okay, I think coming in at 8 o'clock every day would work best for me. Like, you didn't even...
It's like comical because
it's actually comical.
You don't dictate your hours to
I had
work.
a kid working there. He was probably like 17, 18, working during a lunch rush. It's me, my husband.
And it gets busy.
Yeah,
I've
during
been there,
lunch.
in the lunch. I try to avoid it because it's so busy. But
me, my husband, one other kid, and then this new kid was working. First of all, that's like very understaffed, but we were like, okay. He's making a salad, and then all of a sudden, he was there for 2 hours. He said, my legs are kind of tired. I think I'm going to head out. Not, can I leave? And hello, I'm 9 months pregnant. I've been here all day. It's just the stories now. It's very different.
That's
it's very
ridiculous.
hard to find good help. And the help we have that's good, it's, hold on. I hold on to it. I cherish
Could you
them
imagine
so
those
much.
saying to your boss?
Yeah.
I think my legs are tired.
Yeah.
My legs are tired. I'm going to sit down. I'm 9 months pregnant. I'm standing up during the rush hour. But you want to sit down because your legs are tired. You're 17 years old.
Yeah. And the people who
I see Ralphie there.
Yeah. That's another thing. Like, I was saying Serafina, my daughter's going to, be there from the start. And my brother was always working from when I opened. And he was so little back then. And my husband's brother, too. And they were mopping floors, filling muffins, whatever they could do, and they were like that age.
Yeah.
So.
No, they love it.
Now they still work.
And Ralphie.
Ralphie made my poke bowl last week.
But even take your brother Ralphie too. The way he works, he's got works for you, works at the restaurant. He's working 5-6 days a week, going to school.
Yeah, he sees our work ethic.
Yeah, and that's all he does. And he does the same thing. He holds the checks, and then he goes, "Hey, Dad, can you go, to the bank?" Now he's doing it himself. Yeah. But I don't want to ask him for money, though. I think you were 10%. He'd probably be 20.
You can have a hard time when he leaves for college.
A little bit.
Yeah.
They're like buddies. They're so cute together.
I know. And he's just so present, so it's going to be so different without him. And we're always like on him, like Ralphie. Like it's going to be so weird, but I'm happy. Like
he's the baby. That's why.
He's the baby. But he's so personable. He's like he'll sit there and like talk to anybody. We were there for Bring Your Kid to Work Day.
Oh yeah.
My son was there. He's in 8th grade.
Yeah.
And Ralphie was there, and he was just chatting it out. Like you knew him forever.
Yeah, he loves talking to people, and I have no doubt he'll be successful. Whether it's in what he's going to school for or what it's not. He's one of those people. Like he'll be a millionaire somehow.
Yeah, he'll do
talk his way through.
Yeah.
And he knows everyone too. He's like my dad. We're out, and I'm like, how do you know these? All these people who are 3 times your age. Like he's like, I go to the gym with them.
I was telling a story. I don't know if it was the last one or the one before where Vito's like, oh, where are you heading to? I was like, oh, I'm on River Road. Oh, you going to what, so-and-so? The house wasn't even on the market, not even for sale. New first name, last name, everything. Next time, I said, oh, I just got off the phone with someone. She's supposed to, she wants to rent her house. She needs a rental. Is it so-and-so? How do you know who I'm talking about? I don't even know how you know these people or how you know who I'm talking about. I didn't give you.
Knows everything. Somehow.
But it goes back to having that passion
Yeah.
with what you do and love what you do, and
Yeah.
you know what, you're like that too. You're getting where, you know, with the real estate, where you're loving what you do.
I do. I really do.
And you know
putting,
what, you
like,
stay
in
on
your
top.
town, like being present with all the
Right.
games and stuff.
I
you know?
honestly, like, I love it. The kids get so excited. It's
Yeah,
actually
I'm
really
sure.
cute.
Yeah.
Like, I went to one of the games the other day. One of the kids just came up and, like, hugged my,
Like,
hugged
you're
my
the
waist.
lady on
It
the
was
billboard.
cute.
That's nice.
And my niece, she goes, so she was, she's younger than my son, so she went to Central School last year, and they did announcements, and they said, like, they said her name, they're like, Nina D'Alessio is picking you up, and said, don't get on the bus, and whatever, and she said all the boys in her class were like, you know Nina D'Alessio?
Oh my gosh,
and then one
that's
kid
too
goes,
funny.
Nina D'Alessio from Century 21 Wessex, because of the sign.
That's too funny.
But that's what it's all about, you know, getting your face out there, letting people know who you are and everything. Like, I'll go to Zest sometimes, and I'll run into a lot of people all
he
the
knows.
time.
Yeah.
And some of the people, you know, we walk in, and you're like, you mentioned somebody, and, oh, that's so-and-so, and I'll look at them, oh, yeah, I remember,
you remember from way back.
Way
Yeah.
back, and, you know,
Yeah.
and stuff, which is good. And that's what, you know, we try to keep going with.
Yeah.
In 1 week, I got his stone guy, his siding guy,
Yeah, there's always a guy.
the eye doctor who took me in
The
the
eye
emergency.
doctor, yeah. Now we have the cannoli guy.
Cannoli guy.
Yeah. I remember,
the website to get the wine.
That's funny. Yeah. That's like a big thing too now, is like there's so many people who come in that, like, obviously most of them I know who they are,
Yeah.
but then there's some people who you're chatting up and you're like, oh, are you? I forget. And then my husband is very bad with like faces and names, and he's like, I'm like nudging him, like, say hi, and then when they leave, he's like, who is that? I'm like, I have no idea, just pretend, like,
Because they know you, right?
yeah. But they know my dad.
But that's a good thing. That's what you want. You want to have your face out there. You
Yeah.
want people to know, you know, who you are, know what you do, and all that. And that's why, you know, I keep telling you how to do everything, and this is
Yeah.
what you should do, and, you know, keep your face out
But
there.
I'm glad I'm like him, where I'm not pushy. Like, I just don't have it in me.
Yeah,
I'm not like
that's
that.
good.
I don't like being like that. Never
Yeah.
was.
Right,
So I'm glad,
Yeah.
like, I learned a lot from you. But that too, I'm like, thank God he's not
Yeah.
do this, do that, because I
'Cause
don't like doing that.
especially in this business. Like, all my friends who have used my dad, you know, say he's absolutely the best. Like, we would walk in a house, or we would go in the driveway of a house, and he'll be like, no, we're not doing it. And they're like, why? And he's like, I can tell this is not good because of this water here. And, and
Yeah.
they're like, we trusted him. You know, it's not, he wasn't.
It's like the opposite. You point out, my father did real estate part-time, and he was the same way.
Yeah.
My mother used to say, she's like, you talk people out of a house more than you sell the
Yeah,
house.
yeah. My one friend, they saw how many houses? Like 100 houses.
He's like, I
and-
could never talk someone into buying a house. That if I see something wrong, or you
Yeah.
know, it's not good for them.
Yeah,
or-
it's you want the best for them.
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely,
because
100%.
That's your name on it.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, yeah.
and you want them to be happy. You don't want them to
Yeah.
get into something where they, you know, they own it now, and then they're like, what did we do?
Yeah, exactly. Like, this is their home, and that it's. I think it's partially because, you know, you really care about them, and you really care about what you do, and that's a lot of it. But then it's also, you know, like that little percent of you want them to be able to refer you to other people too. So you want.
Oh, yeah. And the best thing is when you get that phone call and you hear, so-and-so gave me your name.
Right.
You know,
Yeah.
you
Because
sold
in the
them a
moment, you don't
house.
think referral.
Right.
In the
Yeah.
moment, you
You're
you
thinking
just
of-
want
at
to be
all.
happy.
Yeah, you
And then
want
when it
them to be
happens,
happy.
you're like,
Right.
you're
right.
glad you did what you
Oh,
did
yeah.
because
You're like, it's
yeah.
because I treated them so good.
Right.
And that's the best thing, getting a referral or getting a repeat customer back, where, you know what, they've lived in their house 5, 6, 7 years, they outgrew it, and then, you know, they want to buy another house, and they call you back.
Yeah.
Kind of like what you did, you know?
I called them back.
She called me back. Nina, I'm going to tell you now, Luciana and TJ are getting married, right? And we always, the joke is now where you can't find anybody a house. I can't find Victoria a house. I had my sister call me one time, and she goes, "You need to find your niece a house." I go, "Okay." I've been trying for like 6 months. There's no houses for her to buy.
But you are the realtor.
But you're the realtor. You need to find a house. I said, "Okay. Can I build a house for her?" There's no land. There's no nothing. There's no way.
There really is.
There isn't anything you can do. But with Luciana, they're getting married. We started looking like a year before.
Yeah, I thought we were being like
right.
proactive.
And this is like 2017, 2018, and she wanted just Fairfield, and there was nothing in Fairfield for sale, nothing. And a house would come up, it wasn't what they liked or whatever. So a house came on the market, I'll never forget. And I said, you know what? For myself, I said this would be a good investment property. It's a small little ranch. I'll buy it. I'll rent it out eventually if I ever want to downsize. I have I have an investment, and I have a house. She comes up to me. She goes, "How about this house?" I go, "What about it?" She goes, "I like that house." I go, "No, you don't." She goes, "Yeah, but this would work." I go, "No, it won't." She goes, "Yes, it will." And then, I ended up telling her, "Look, I was buying it or whatever." But we end up buying a house, end up redoing the entire house. We took a bedroom out, made a walk-in closet, made a full bath.
Basically redid the whole
I was going to say,
inside, outside, roof, siding.
Inside and out. I redid the whole house, added a 2-car garage, everything. But now, I said, "Luciana, now you're going from a 3-bedroom to a 2-bedroom. You're all right with it?" "Yeah, we love it. Okay, no problem." 2 years later, "I think we're going to start a family. House is too small for us." I said, "Well, why don't you say that before? We could have put a second floor
really
on
should.
it or whatever."
Yeah.
While we were redoing the whole
Then it was
house.
like the worst time in the market.
And the worst time in the market, COVID hit, So, and then she goes, "But maybe we'll stay." I said, "Look, we'll put it up." She goes, "Where am I going to go?" I go, "Don't worry about where you're going to go.
Your
Put
house."
it up." And that's where you remember.
Yeah, we ended up for a few months.
She
like
ended
3
up
months.
coming for a couple months to my house. And then when we were looking for another house, she liked another house. I really never liked it.
Oh, yeah, he didn't like it at all.
She wanted it. We went in. We got it. During home inspections, we had some issues. And we ended up, getting a different one. Another house comes on the market. And I called her up. I said, "Well, I think, no, you called me up. It was coming soon.
Yeah, it was like walking.
It wasn't even on the
going
MLS.
For a run or a walk. Yeah, it was coming soon. It was, 2-3 years ago, right when all this craziness happened. So I called him up. I'm like, "How about this house?" And he's like, "What are you, like me now? Like going for a walk and you see the house?"
Yeah, I didn't even know.
Well, I'm out earlier than you now, so.
Sometimes I'll be on the phone, I'll have to call. I know he's up early, so I have a question or
Yeah.
whatever, or he'll call me for.
Yeah, he's out.
And he's always out on his walk, and then I hear, "Hey, how you doing?
Yeah.
You know what you can get for your house, right? If you like."
That's funny.
Nina, I'll call you back.
I'll call you back.
But that's the way to do. You got to stay on top of everything.
Yeah.
And I remember with your house too. And I called the other agent. I said, "Look, give them a full price offer. We're good to go. Don't you want to see it? We can't get it." I said, "Don't worry about it."
Yeah, I was like, "Is
we
that
know
a good
the
idea? Like, we're not gonna see
I go,
it."
"We know the house." She goes, "We're not going to see it." I said, "Dad, don't worry about it." I go, "Trust me." I go, "You trusted me on the other one. Trust me on
we
this
didn't even
one."
look at it.
But at the end,
And you love it?
The
Yeah.
owner,
There, and you
the
love it?
owner made us go look at it, but we
But
ended
it
up
is,
going.
the market's
Yeah.
just insane.
It's crazy now, yeah. And even with this house, it's like, trusted him, and then I was like, "All right, I need your stone guy, your floor guy, this guy now."
And I was like, "Thank God I got a guy for everything."
Yeah,
Everything.
exactly.
And when he sends you the contact, it's like the name
And then
tile
stone,
guy.
yeah.
The name floor guy.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can remember.
Yeah, and then all my friends text me like, "Do you have this guy?" I'm like, "Yeah." Then I text my dad. I'm like, "What's this guy's number?"
Yeah, he has a guy for everything.
I'll have the guy, the hardwood floor guy, Mike Hardwood Floor.
Yeah.
Or Mike Hardwood. Or,
Yeah.
Cabinet guy.
Cabinet,
everyone.
Mike Cabinet.
Yeah.
But that
So
house
funny.
in Boone we were looking at yesterday, they had 63 offers this morning.
That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy.
The guy's like, we had 300, because I was like, oh, is there any way? And I knew it would probably not happen because they called for highest and best yesterday. But my client's like, we missed it. We had this emergency. Can we go see it tonight? I'm like,
It's not worth
probably
it.
right. All right, I'll ask. And then the guy's like, look, we had 375 showings and
That's
63
crazy.
offers. I'm like,
It's like a zoo out there.
it's crazy. And he's like, it's an elderly couple. They were so overwhelmed by like the activity and the offers and everything.
Yeah, and I don't know how you choose at that point. I mean,
Can't.
when we were selling, it was just the start of that, and we had, multiple offers.
Yeah,
and we had one open house, it was like 2 hours. A lot of people lying out the door, 3 offers, and I was like, okay, highest one. He's like, it's not just about the number, though, and I'm like, what? And then,
but it's true when you get to 63 offers. I'm sure that there's
all terms and things. You have
and
to
there's
figure
like
out.
a bunch on the top that are all similar. You know?
And the crazy thing with your house too. Remember, I told you it wasn't about the numbers. It was about the terms and all that. And we had 3 offers. All the numbers happen to be the same.
I think one was like 5 off.
Five, right? And then we're looking at it and we said one guy had a contingency to sell his house, and he actually it was under contract or going under contract. But for some reason, I liked his terms better.
Yeah.
And I said, we're going to go with the guy that's got the contingency because you had nowhere to go.
Which is normally not. Which
will normally not happen.
Because we didn't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
We didn't have anywhere to go, but I liked his terms better, and we went with the contingency guy.
And
and
it all
guess
worked
what?
out?
It all worked out.
Yeah.
See?
So,
and that's what sometimes people will say, don't even bother putting in the you have a contingency.
Yeah, it's true. You never know.
You never know.
If those people don't want to
and here you go, perfect example. The agent called me and goes, you know what? He has a contingency. We're going under contract. I don't even want to write up the offer. They actually said that. I said, no, write up the offer because you just don't know. You never know. And sure enough, that's the guy that got the house.
Yeah. That's
See?
true.
So we say it all the time. You never do people back they pick someone and something happens with their job, with their family. They back out or their mortgage commits something, and at least they have something in hand to go back on.
Yep. No, I agree. That's why I tell everybody, look, you're going to put an offer. I don't care what it is. Put the offer, and we'll go from there.
The worst they can say is no. You're not going to get the house anyway if you don't put the offer in.
Yeah.
Right. The worst they can say is no.
Yeah.
How long does it take us to write up an offer? 10 minutes?
I was just going to say 10 minutes maybe.
If
that, because now it autofills.
But you have a lot of lazy realtors out there that won't do it.
Yeah. It's like, why not try?
Why not try?
You feel like we always fill out every single thing on the contract. At least I do. I know you do. You have people that don't fill out anything and just put the price, and they don't put anything. They put nothing
lazy.
else in.
Nope.
They just put the price, the offer price, and the down payment, and that's it, and have them sign it. That takes
2 minutes.
2 minutes maybe.
Yeah.
And those are the people that shouldn't even have their real estate license.
Yeah, and I had a person, he worked nights, so he would sleep all day, and he was like, the only time I can do it isn't like basically when he's working. So I would set my alarm for 1 a.m.
Oh my God.
and send him everything and make sure he signed it because I knew I couldn't get in touch with him the next day because he shuts his phone off or puts it on silent and sleeps. And that's what I would do because I'm like, that's the only time he can get the contract signed and go over everything because he's up and whatever. But
Crazy.
Well,
crazy.
my wine is done.
Oh.
So you know what that means. Luciana,
If I had wine, it would have been done.
what else did you bring us? I see something else on the table there.
Oh yeah, I have some sweatshirts. So these are our Zest University sweatshirts.
Look at that.
Yeah, we have new sweatshirts every year. My husband's the designer of them, so and one of the girls helped with this
thank
one.
you so much.
Yeah, and they're really comfy.
My son's gonna steal this.
Really
I already know
comfy.
that.
I love this. They
This
bring
is
us
awesome.
wine.
Yes.
They bring us sweatshirts.
Thank
Yeah.
you so
They
much.
bring us food.
Right?
It doesn't
Right?
get any better
And
than
last
that.
time someone brought us, I think it was a sweatshirt. Did Danny bring us a sweatshirt?
Danny
Yeah.
brought us a
And it was
sweatshirt.
freezing at my son's baseball game, and I had it in my car
Oh,
from when he gave it to us,
perfect.
and I got to put him.
That's right. I
Everyone was like,
remember.
"What is that company?" I'm like,
That's too funny. All good. Well, this was fun.
This was fun,
Fun,
right?
Yeah, it
right,
is
right.
fun.
Luciana, you have you want to say anything before we head
Really
out
putting her
here?
on the
Or
spot.
Yeah, I mean,
tell us about whatever you want.
I don't know. I think pretty much hit all my points, but I think, the moral of our discussion today, since this one's a little different because, I'm not involved in the real estate world, but I guess having my dad as a realtor taught me a lot about real estate. I will say that, but it taught me a lot about, being an entrepreneur as well and following your passion. And the moral about this podcast episode is, do what you love. And I think hopefully this hits a lot of people. And, even if one person from after this says, I really needed that push. And
But it is.
they
It's a
could
good
start
story.
doing what
You
they
got
love.
you got the scholarship. You didn't feel right. You went somewhere else, and then you did what you were supposed to do, and it didn't feel right. And look where you are now.
Yeah, and I'm lucky, I had someone like my dad to look up to, who worked hard, who loved what he did, who, had that work ethic, who loved talking to people and everything, and I combined it all, but some people don't have that. So
that's
I
very
think
true.
it's, really important to share that if you have that passion, to share that with other people.
I love it.
Yeah.
I always say, thank you for that, Luciana. And I always say to everybody, and everybody I see all the time too, and even when I was working at the other places, you know what? Do what you love, do it right, be happy, and you come around in this world one time, be happy at what you do, and just keep going, and go for the gusto, and you know what, you got to be happy, you got to do what you love, and just just keep doing
And you
it.
have to be okay with failing
Yes.
and getting
Absolutely.
Oh
back
my
up
gosh,
and
yes.
trying again.
Absolutely.
Like,
Pushing yourself and
Yep.
out of your comfort zone.
yeah, yeah.
And
That's a good one.
And especially at real estate, like I hear you all the time, this happened or whatever. What do I tell you? Especially in real estate, you got
have your
high
ups,
highs and you got your low
low lows.
lows.
Yeah.
And you know what? When you got your low lows, always remember about the high highs.
Yeah.
And you're going
And
to
they
get
come.
back.
They usually come out of nowhere.
Nowhere.
Yeah.
And they come right back.
And-
Look, you got that. You were upset, and what happened? You got a call today
Yeah.
or a text
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
We're going to
And
go
even last
somewhere
night
tomorrow.
from the party on Saturday, he
Yeah.
texted me. He's like, "Me and my wife are looking.
Yeah.
Here, you're the best. This and that. Could you help us
Yeah.
out?"
And you have to believe in yourself too. I think that,
Yeah.
when you're so in that down and oh, this isn't working out, it's nothing's going to work out because you're not wanting it,
Exactly.
And that, my husband's really like that. My dad is really
just putting
"It's
it out
just-
there, yeah.
Let's just stop.
You're-
It's
Don't
one
dwell
day, it's
on
one
it.
thing.
Just
One
don't
thing,
dwell
right.
on
And
it.
then
Like,
once-
okay, fine.
yeah.
If something bad happened, you can be upset.
Yes,
but don't let it
exactly.
determine
Don't let it-
how the whole week's gonna go.
Yeah,
Because
and
Right.
you have to believe in yourself,
Yourself.
and then
it was
it'll
hard for me to get into real estate only because it's about
Yourself.
promoting yourself, and I don't like.
Yeah.
I don't like to
But
hear
again,
my
but-
voice. I don't like to look
Yeah.
at myself.
But we're telling
For
you.
someone
you-
that talks a lot, I don't like to hear myself.
But you do a good job at it, though.
thank
you.
You're really good at it, and like I told you the other time, you remind me of me too when you talk to people. The way you present yourself and how you do things, and that's how you're going to be successful in the business that we're in.
Yeah.
By doing that, I got a tear in my eye too.
Wait, I
But-
gotta I need to play something right now. Be successful, and how we were saying before about being happy, right? This is Serafina's word of the week, right?
Here we go. Nice.
Where is it? This is actually really funny that it intertwines with this.
Serafina, are you happy?
So it's about being happy,
see,
right?
it is.
It's about being happy. Even my granddaughter said,
See?
be happy, do what you love, keep doing it.
But he is the best when I'm
Yeah,
I get
that's
in that
good.
little
Aw.
funk. He's
you could
but
do
then he's
it.
like, I'm worried about you, kid. Are
Aw.
you okay?
Are
you
you
all right? You'll be all right. Let's
You'll
come
be
in the
fine.
office. We'll be all right.
You'll be
That's
fine.
fine.
You'll be fine. Well, this was a great episode.
This was
This
great.
is
Thank
fun.
you so much for
Luciana,
coming.
Thank you
Thank-
guys for
thank-
having me.
Thank you so much for coming. Keep up the great work, and I can't wait for our grandson
Yeah.
to be born here in June. And thanks again for coming. And on that note, one day, and that day will come, when you need to buy or sell a house. And when that day does come, you will need to call the godfather of Northern New Jersey real estate. And I know Nina was going to say, and don't forget
And
me
don't
if
forget
he's
me
not
when
around.
he's on vacation.
Love it.
Thank you.